day by day. What happens in her mind when you disappear? Modern Stoic. What if I told you that stepping away, disappearing from her life, can be one of the most profound strategies you can employ in a woman's mind? The instant you stop chasing after her, stop seeking to explain yourself, stop trying to prove your worth, and simply let go, you don't fade away. You become unforgettable. In this silence, real and intentional, there's a resonance that lingers. It doesn't vanish quickly. It creates space in her thoughts, a space where once there was noise. Strange as it may sound, human nature is irresistibly drawn to what's missing, what's absent, the unanswered questions, the enigma. When you leave, not out of resentment but from a place of peace, you're not just creating distance, you're cultivating depth. You're not chasing for attention, you're commanding presence. And in the stillness of that space, she begins to experience something new. The weight of your absence is more significant than any words you could have spoken. Too many men deplete themselves by constantly proving they are enough. They send message after message. They over-explain. They dilute their own energy in a desperate attempt to be seen. But the truly powerful man is the one who realizes he doesn't need validation. He knows he is enough, not because she says so, but because he has finally acknowledged it for himself. This isn't about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about awareness. It's about choosing yourself not with arrogance, but with clarity and purpose. When a man walks away with peace in his heart and stillness in his eyes, he doesn't lose her. Instead, he offers her the chance to truly see him without the distractions, without the noise. Day by day, as you remain absent, something begins to shift within her. The silence becomes a reflection of her thoughts. The absence becomes a puzzle, an unresolved question. And the man who once seemed to fade into the background becomes the center of her mental world. In this video, we'll break down exactly what happens in her mind day by day when you step back with dignity, when you stop chasing and start embodying your true self. If you value inner strength over unnecessary drama, purpose over ego, and wisdom over chaos, then you've come to the right place. Let's begin. Day 1. She doesn't flinch, but that's just the beginning of the story. The first day passes, and your absence doesn't shake her. Not outwardly, at least. She remains calm, composed, and almost indifferent. It's not that she doesn't notice the shift but she perceives it like background noise there, but not disrupting the flow of her day. You must understand, women are accustomed to being wanted, to being the center of attention. They've learned to expect that attention will return, one way or another, and whether through persistence or desperation, they believe the cycle will continue. When you go silent, she tells herself it's just another phase. Maybe you're busy. Maybe you're trying to spark some curiosity. Or maybe you're just playing hard to get, knowing you'll eventually come back around to her feet. She doesn't panic. She doesn't wonder where you've gone. Not yet. Because deep down, she still believes she knows the ending. She's seen this story before. But what she doesn't see, what she doesn't realize, is that your silence isn't some game or tactic. You're not withholding affection just to stir up tension. You're not hoping to be missed. The truth is, you've simply stopped offering your energy to someone who hasn't fully received it. This isn't about power, and it's about peace. The peace of a modern Stoic who has mastered his emotions. A man who no longer seeks validation but lives by his own code. In this silence, you've found clarity. The blessing of Stoicism is that it teaches you how to remain unmoved by external forces and how to prioritize your peace over the approval of others. And that's where the shift begins, within you. not her. She still believes this is just another cycle, just another test. But the reality is this isn't the beginning of a game, it's the end of one. She doesn't flinch because she doesn't feel the full weight of your absence yet. But mark my words, the silence she dismisses now will become the echo she can't ignore. Soon, she'll realize this isn't the same. This isn't just another moment in a dance that has been played out too many times before. It's the quiet of a man who knows his worth and refuses to compromise it. The old Stoic knew this truth, and now, so do you. This is where the real shift happens, and once she realizes it, there will be no turning back. She won't be able to escape the realization that you've changed. She'll see that your absence is a sign of growth, not a lack of care, and that's something she won't be able to ignore, no matter how hard she tries. Day 2 to 3. A subtle shift begins. By the second or third day, things start to feel different. It's not loud or jarring, just a quiet shift. It's subtle. There's a void where your presence used to be. You were always consistent, steady, and reliable, not overly available, but grounded. And now, you're not there. No messages, no updates, no reactions, just an emptiness, a silence. She doesn't panic, not outwardly at least. She'll convince herself it's nothing. Maybe you're busy, maybe you're just taking a step back. She even tells herself it's refreshing to have space, to have the upper hand for once. But under that composed surface, things are already stirring in her mind. She starts scrolling through old conversations, maybe just to remind herself that there's still something connecting you to her. She checks your profile, not to reach out, not yet, but just to see if you're still there. You're not in the way she expects, not in the way she's used to. That's when the quiet begins to take root, and a small, almost imperceptible seed of uncertainty starts to grow. It's not longing yet. That comes later. This is something much more subtle. It's the realization that something has changed, something she can't quite name. She doesn't know what she did. She doesn't know if you're thinking about her, if you're still interested, if you're still even there. And that ambiguity, the lack of clear answers, unsettles her in a way that a direct rejection never could. You're no longer following the script, the predictable cycle of pursuit and retreat. And that's what's powerful. The unknown is always more compelling than what she expects. In those early days when you do absolutely nothing, you're already saying everything. You must understand this silence, done right, is not just the absence of sound, it's the presence of power. A modern Stoic knows this well. By doing nothing, you begin to redefine the rules of engagement. No games, no manipulation, just pure, unshakable peace. When you step back and stop offering energy where it's not received, you let the silence speak for you. This is the essence of Stoic lessons. You don't need to explain, to prove, or to convince. Your actions, or rather, your lack of action, are saying everything. You've aligned yourself with the Stoic life, living according to your own emotional code, not swayed by external circumstances or the expectations of others. The Stoicism you practice in this silence is powerful. The more you lean into it, the more you embrace that peace, the more she'll feel the shift, and she doesn't know it yet. But a question has begun to echo in her mind. What if you're really gone this time? The absence that once felt like a minor disturbance will soon become a full-on existential query. The Stoic life isn't about running away from someone, but rather about choosing to no longer chase after validation. When you stop seeking approval, you've already found your peace. And that, my friend, is the lesson she'll eventually come to realize. This isn't about playing hard to get or pulling away as some form of manipulation. This is about you reclaiming your sovereignty, about stepping into your own life with the kind of clarity and peace that only the Stoic can truly understand. You are not following the script. You are living by your own rules, and that's a far more powerful thing than anything she could ever expect. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us, or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. Day 4 to 5, the absence feels heavier. By the 4th or 5th day of your absence, something profound happens in her mind. It's no longer a trivial thing. The silence starts to press in on her. It's not in the loud, obvious ways, but in the subtle, everyday moments. She checks her phone more often, not out of need, but out of a quiet hope that your name might suddenly appear on the screen. She tells herself it's nothing, just a habit, maybe even curiosity. But deep down, she knows it's more. The silence, your absence, is occupying space in her life. She skips songs now, not because they don't resonate, but because they remind her of the comfort she once had when you were there. Steady and present, when she didn't have to wonder where you stood. The nights grow longer. The pauses in her daily interactions become more noticeable. The gaps in conversation with friends. The lonely minutes before sleep, when no one sends a good night message, and she's left with nothing but her thoughts. She thought you'd break by now. She expected you to send something, anything, to remind her that she still had the upper hand, that she still held power over you. But you haven't. Your silence isn't an accident, it's deliberate, it's composed, and that sends a message far stronger than words ever could. Your silence has meaning. It's a quiet declaration that you no longer need to chase. You've become a man anchored in himself, in his own purpose, in his own stoic resolve. And though she may never admit it, the weight of that realization is already shifting something inside her. She's no longer certain how this story ends. And that uncertainty, that doubt, begins to eat away at her in ways she can't yet understand. This, my friend, is the power of Stoicism in its purest form. Marcus Aurelius taught us that. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you let go of the need for constant validation, when you stand firm in your own sense of self-worth, the effect it has on those around you is profound. Your silence speaks louder than any words could. It is the deliberate absence, the strength to stay composed in a world that constantly demands attention, that unsettles others. She was expecting you to react, to chase after her when she pulled away. But by staying steady, by holding your ground, you've become the one in control. This is the essence of the Stoic mindset, the ability to master your emotions, to choose your actions rather than be swept along by the whims of others. You must embrace this mindset, adopt the principles of the Stoics. In doing so, you become unshakable, unbothered by external forces. Marcus Aurelius also reminds us, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Don't play the game. Don't react. Stay grounded in your purpose and watch how the world begins to shift around you. Your absence, your silence, is the true power move. The Stoic principles teach us that you don't need to chase after anyone or anything. The real strength lies in being anchored within yourself. You must let go of the need for others to define your worth. Let your actions, your silence, speak volumes. Keep moving forward. Victory isn't in reacting to the world. Victory is in mastering yourself. Day 6 to 7, the questions begin to echo. By day 6 or 7, something shifts in her mind. It's not about missing you in the romantic sense. It's deeper. It's about control. The control she thought she had, the confidence it gave her, is slipping away. You were never supposed to go silent for so long. She expected you to reach out, to fold, to send something, anything. But you've stayed quiet, steady, unshaken. That calm is unraveling everything she assumed. Questions bubble up. Did I misread him? Was he never that into me? Is he already with someone else? These questions stay locked in her mind, but they echo louder each time. It's not just your absence that haunts her, it's the quiet confidence in it. You're not angry, not bitter, not playing games. You've simply moved on, fully living your life, and that unsettles her. For the first time, she's questioning her importance in your world, not because you've diminished her, but because you've shown her something rare, a man who doesn't need her attention to feel whole. That kind of peace, that strength, can't be faked, and it cuts through her pride. You've become a modern Stoic, embodying the blessing of Stoicism, and it forces her to confront her own emotional uncertainty. She's now forced to ask herself, can she embrace the same calm, the same inner peace? Without relying on others, you've left her questioning herself in a way she never expected. And the more she thinks about it, the more she realizes that you've shown her a kind of strength she can't ignore. Day 8 to 10, the quiet starts to haunt her. By now, your silence has transformed. It's no longer a fleeting absence. It lingers. It follows her through conversations, scrolling social media, and as she lies in bed at night, it's no longer just something she notices, it's something she feels. And as she searches for any sign of you, viewing her stories, liking a photo, or tagging her, she finds nothing. You've disappeared, not with a dramatic exit, but with quiet stillness. And that silence is louder than any confrontation. She tells herself you're playing a game, waiting for her reaction. But the longer this goes on, the clearer it becomes this isn't a game. You've chosen silence, not as a weapon, but as a boundary. You've made a declaration you don't need her attention to feel whole. And that's what unsettles her most. For the first time, she feels regret. Not because you said something, but because you didn't. This is where Stoicism enters. You've walked away with quiet dignity, not because you're punishing her, but because you remembered your worth. You've reached a point where your peace is unshakable. This peace isn't something she can ignore. It lingers in every silence, forcing her to confront her own vulnerabilities. Don't apologize for your silence. This is the essence of Stoicism: standing firm, remaining unshaken. You don't need validation to feel complete. You've chosen peace, and that's the power she can't seem to shake. You've shown her what it looks like when a man stops chasing, not out of malice, but because he's finally remembered his worth. The quiet doesn't just haunt her, it transforms her. This is the power of living a Stoic life. You found your peace, and that's something no one can take from you. Days 11 to 14, ego cracks. Doubt creeps in. Days 11 to 14 are pivotal. This is when the cracks begin to show. At first, it's barely noticeable. A slight hesitation as she looks in the mirror, a momentary flicker of doubt behind her eyes. But as time stretches on, her mind starts to spiral. It's not anger or frustration, but quiet questioning. She replays your conversations over and over in her mind, seeking meaning in every word. What once seemed trivial now echoes louder, as if every little moment mattered more than she realized. She reconsiders her past actions, wondering if she overlooked something, or worse, if she dismissed something that could have been important. The irony is, she still believes she's in control. She thinks she's the one making the choice not to reach out. But deep down, that control begins to slip. For the first time, she's unsure. She's unsure whether your silence is a calculated move, a strategy, or if it's genuine, if it's really the absence of need. This uncertainty gnaws at her, because it's no longer about her power to act. It's about the lack of your emotional dependency on her. You've shown that you don't need to prove anything to her, and that's what shakes her to the core. You aren't trying to provoke her. You aren't orchestrating some grand emotional move. You aren't sitting by the phone, waiting for her to reach out. You're simply living, grounded in your own purpose. You're nourishing yourself, your body, your mind, your work, and that is powerful. You've stepped off the emotional battlefield and embraced something far greater: self-respect. And whether she admits it or not, she feels it. Because nothing unsettles the ego like witnessing someone thrive without needing to prove their worth. She's no longer asking when you'll return. She's wondering if you ever truly needed her in the first place. As the days pass, the story she's been telling herself begins to unravel. She starts to question her narrative, her role in this. That uncertainty is the turning point. You've mastered your life, and by doing so, you've given her a mirror to face her own insecurities. Marcus Aurelius, a true Stoic, said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." Your detachment from the situation, your strength in not needing validation from her, is the ultimate power. It's not about what she does, it's about what you've done. This is the essence of Stoic principles. Control what you can control and let go of the rest. You must rise above emotional distractions. The power doesn't lie in manipulation or games, but in your ability to remain steadfast and focused on your own growth. You don't seek her validation, because you already possess the validation you need. Remember this: you must own your peace. Be like a Stoic. Let your actions speak louder than words. Don't chase. Don't pursue it. Don't let your ego be manipulated by external forces. Let your silence echo with self-assurance. In this silence, you will find strength, and she will feel it. The true test of a man is not how he behaves when things are easy, but how he carries himself when things are challenging. Let go of the need to explain. Let go of the need to prove. Just thrive, and she will have no choice but to question her own beliefs. The power lies in your ability to remain grounded, self-assured, and indifferent to the chaos around you. And when you do, you'll realize this is how true men conquer, not by force, but by Stoic calm and unshakable self-respect. If this resonates with you, like, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember I am grounded in my self-respect and the power of my own peace. Days 15 to 17. Her pride battles her curiosity. By now, the silence has grown deafening, a void too significant to ignore. It sits in the spaces where your voice once flowed so effortlessly, in the quiet moments when your casual updates or passing comments filled the air with a sense of connection. She has tried to tell herself that it doesn't matter, that she's fine without it, but something deep inside her is shifting. Her pride keeps telling her to stay composed, to uphold the facade of indifference, as if pretending it doesn't hurt will make it go away. But then there's curiosity. Silent at first, a gentle tug on her heart, but soon growing into an undeniable, quiet desperation. She wants to reach out, but not with a confession, no. That's too vulnerable. Instead, she'll send something small, something that could easily pass as nothing. Perhaps a vague post, a lyric that could mean anything, a photo that holds a memory but not enough context to make it clear. Maybe a story where her smile appears genuine, yet her eyes betray the sorrow she's trying so hard to mask. She hopes this tiny gesture will be enough to stir a reaction, just a simple acknowledgement that says, "I still exist somewhere in your thoughts, but you remain silent." Nothing. No likes, no messages, no response. And that absence, that deliberate stillness, cuts deeper than any harsh word ever could. It's not angry or emotional, it's clean, it's surgical. It's the kind of silence that leaves no room for misinterpretation. It forces her to face a painful truth she's been avoiding. She's not in control anymore. The illusion she built, that sense of security in her ability to manipulate or hold power, starts to crumble. And here's the hardest pill to swallow. She never really had control at all. She mistook your kindness for need, your attention for pursuit, and now, in your stillness, she sees you with startling clarity, perhaps for the first time. It's a painful, humbling realization, one that strips her of any pretense of strength or control she once had. Now, what she faces isn't just the ache of your absence, but the awareness that she was living in a fantasy. She was grasping at something that was never really hers to hold. The curse of pride and ego has only served to keep her in the dark for longer than necessary. This is the lesson of the modern Stoic: to find peace in the discomfort, to accept the truth without bitterness or resistance. The blessing of Stoicism lies in the realization that we are never in full control, that we can only control our responses, our actions, our character. In the silence, she is forced to reckon with her own vulnerability, her own misperceptions, and that is the lesson of the old Stoic, the wisdom to know that sometimes the absence of everything is the most powerful presence. She will feel the sting, but it's a necessary one. It's the pain of awakening, the clarity of seeing things as they truly are. Her pride may resist, but curiosity will push her toward self-awareness, toward growth. This is the moment where she must decide whether she will cling to old habits or embrace the quiet lessons the universe is offering. She cannot control you, but she can control her own journey from this point forward. So she must choose. Will she remain lost in the noise of ego? Or will she, like a true modern Stoic, embrace this moment of silence as the gift it is? The choice is hers, and that's the only thing she can truly control. Days 18 to 20, the fear becomes real. At this stage, the silence no longer feels like space. It no longer feels like freedom, or even a mere absence of sound. It feels like something deeper. It feels like a loss. The quiet creeps into her day like an uninvited guest, hiding in the corners, waiting for nightfall when it can sink in fully. The stillness isn't peaceful anymore. It's unsettling, suffocating. She was once left wondering where you went. Now, that wondering transforms into a gnawing fear that you may not come back. And suddenly, for her, that fear isn't abstract. It doesn't feel like some distant possibility. No, it feels immediate. It feels real. It feels like the walls of her world are closing in. This is where the emotional game shifts. And you need to know this silence can be golden, but it's also a breeding ground for fear. The kind of fear that shakes her belief in you and everything she thought she understood. She starts dropping your name into conversations. Not loudly, but in subtle ways, as though mentioning you in passing. It's like a test, a way to see if anyone else will notice, or if anyone else feels the absence she does. But her voice betrays her. It's faint but there, an edge of desperation, a pause in the middle of her sentence, a little more weight behind your name than she means to show. Don't mistake this for casual chatter. This is her way of acknowledging what she's trying so hard to ignore. When she talks about you, the words hang heavier in the air, and when she's alone, when the distractions of the day are gone, she can no longer deny the truth. She scrolls through your social media profiles in the dead of night, eyes scanning, searching for any sign that you still care, any evidence that you still feel something for her. There, in the glow of her phone, she lingers too long on a photo of you smiling, a photo that used to make her feel chosen, special. Now it makes her wonder if she was ever seen for who she really was, or if she was just another character in the version of you she created in her mind. There's an unraveling happening now. She's no longer certain about the stories she told herself. The narratives that once held her world together are starting to fall apart. She once thought of herself as the prize, the one who held all the cards, the one who could make you chase after her. But that belief is starting to erode. The realization comes slowly, quietly. But it hits hard. The truth stares back at her in the mirror. You weren't playing a game. You weren't trying to win her over. You weren't the one chasing. No. You were offering something much more valuable. Genuine presence, steady energy, respect. You gave her that in abundance. And when it wasn't reciprocated, when she failed to meet you with the same care, you didn't retaliate. You didn't argue or demand explanation. You simply withdrew. You showed clarity. You set a boundary. This is where she sees it for what it really is. What once felt like a punishment now reveals itself as something else. A boundary, a standard. She used to think she was the prize, but now she sees the real rarity in this situation. It wasn't her, as she had convinced herself. What you were offering, the consistency, the presence, the respect, was the rare thing. And once that sinks in, everything changes. The Stoic lessons you've embraced are what gave you the strength to withdraw with clarity and without drama. You didn't lose your composure. You didn't get swept up in the emotions of the situation. Instead, you maintained a steady presence, embodying the Stoic life that so many men fail to grasp. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control others, only ourselves, and you chose to act in alignment with that principle. You didn't react in the way she expected. Instead, you showed the power of presence and the quiet strength of detachment. You didn't push her away, you simply stepped back. And in that silence, you revealed to her the true meaning of respect, offering her the opportunity to confront the reality of her own emotions. Now, as the fear settles deeper in her mind, she has no choice but to face the truth. This is what it means to be a modern Stoic, to understand that some things are simply beyond our control, and that our only power lies in how we respond. She's facing her own vulnerability now, and the lessons you've demonstrated through your Stoic behavior have shaken her to her core. The way you set boundaries, without anger, without guilt, forces her to confront herself. That is the essence of Stoicism. It is not about avoiding conflict or hiding from emotions. It is about understanding them, respecting them, and not allowing them to control you. This is the power you have shown her without ever needing to say a word. Now, as she begins to recognize the rarity of what you offered, she starts to understand that true strength doesn't come from domination, but from calm presence, from clarity, and from the strength to set boundaries without hesitation. In the quiet, she realizes that you were never trying to win her over. You were offering her something that most men are too afraid to give. And now, she must face the reality that perhaps The true prize was never her. It was the way you lived your life, the Stoic lessons you embodied every day. Days 21 to 25, the strategizing begins. By now, the silence has exposed the illusion of control she once had. It's no longer about desperation, but strategy. Her confidence softens, her tone becomes more calculated, her presence more deliberate. She wants to be seen again, the way she once was, before the silence took over. Expect a vague message, an accidental encounter, or a trivial question, anything to reopen a door. But you've moved past it, and you no longer walk through half-open doors. Proximity is no longer connected, and familiarity is no longer meaningful. Your response: stillness, composure, and clarity. Not with bitterness but peace. You've outgrown the game. Your unshakable center unnerves her because it's rare. She anticipated resistance or surrender, but not indifference grounded in peace. And that's what unsettles her most. You've moved on. And nothing is more disarming than a man who no longer needs validation to remain whole. This is where Stoic principles come into play. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." A true Stoic controls what he can and accepts what he cannot. The peace you seek isn't in external approval, but in inner calm. You must focus on maintaining composure, not reacting to life's chaos. Stand firm in your peace. As Aurelius put it, the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do. Only what you do. Don't play the game. Recognize that your strength lies in your indifference to distractions. You've learned that true power comes from within, your ability to remain unmoved by others' actions. Your peace is yours to protect, and by embracing Stoic principles, you master not only yourself but the world around you. Day 26 to 30. She's no longer curious. She's invested. The silence between you has done more than just create space. It sparked a profound transformation. The absence of your attention, your presence, your energy. It isn't just a puzzle for her anymore. It's something she feels deep in her bones, lingering in the quiet corners of her mind, touching places she didn't know could be moved. No longer simply wondering where you've gone, she's become consumed by understanding why the world feels so different without you in it. The mystery of your disappearance has been replaced by a powerful, internal shift. The playful posts, the accidental messages, the passive-aggressive little tests they once threw at you are gone. What remains is real, deliberate. She reaches out not with a mask or a performance, but with raw vulnerability. It's not an attempt to win you back with charm. No, it's deeper than that. For the first time, she speaks without the assumption that you'll be there waiting for her. She speaks now with a quiet hope. And that, right there, marks a shift in the dynamic between you two. It's no longer about whether you'll respond or not. It's now about whether she even qualifies to sit at your table again. She's wondering if she's earned the right to re-enter a space you no longer offer so easily. Your absence wasn't just silence. It was a mirror reflecting what she once took for granted, what she thought would always be there. The constant presence of you, her security, her comfort. Now that it's gone, she realizes that it wasn't just casual or convenient. It was sacred. On your end, you're different too. You're not hardened or bitter, but you're clear. The blessing of Stoicism has helped you understand the true cost of your energy, the value of your peace. You've learned that your worth has never been dependent on her validation. It never was. But now you see it with crystal clarity. Her message, no matter how sincere, doesn't erase the transformation you've gone through in those days of stillness. It doesn't undo the journey you've taken within yourself, the lessons learned in the silence. So you pause, not to punish but to protect, to honor what you've cultivated within. What you once gave freely must now be treated with the same reverence you've given your own life. Her reach for reconnection is no longer about a mere reaction. It's something more. She wants reconnection, not a response. But the difference now is that you get to decide, and this decision isn't driven by desire or longing, it's driven by alignment. Because now, you understand that your worth was never something she could take away or grant. It's always been yours, anchored deep within you. The old Stoic taught us this, that peace, clarity, and true self-worth come not from external validation, but from within. And now, you stand on the other side, clearer and stronger than before. Hey there. I hope you found some clarity in today's message. It's always a journey, and I appreciate you taking the time to reflect with me. Here's the thing. Disappearing isn't about creating distance just for the sake of it. It's not a game or a power move. It's an opportunity for growth. When you step back, you're not just showing her what you're made of, you're showing yourself. It's in that stillness, in that space of calm, that you truly reconnect with who you are, away from the noise of validation and expectation. My advice to you: own your presence. Don't chase after approval or beg to be seen. If someone forgets you, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's just that they never truly understood who you are in the first place. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced that moment of stepping back and watching things change? Or maybe you've reached out too soon, only to regret it later. Drop your thoughts in the comments. This isn't just a video, it's a space for real conversations. I read every comment, and I'll reply to as many as I can because your story matters. Trust me. Someone else out there needs to hear it. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.